The story of Noah's Ark is among the most enduring tales in human history. It speaks to something deep within us, a primal fear of destruction, and a hope for renewal. This narrative, enshrined in the book of Genesis, has captivated imaginations for millennia. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and even scientific speculation. Yet for all its familiarity, the story of Noah's Ark still holds secrets. Beneath the surface of this ancient narrative lie layers of meaning. These layers offer profound insights into the human condition and our relationship with the divine. The story, as recounted in the Bible, begins with a world consumed by wickedness. The earth is filled with violence, corruption, and moral decay. People have turned away from righteousness, indulging in sinful behaviors and forsaking the path of virtue. Humanity has strayed from the path of righteousness, prompting God to regret his creation. The divine heart is grieved by the rampant evil that has taken hold of the world. The Creator, who once saw his creation as very good, now witnesses the depths of human depravity. To cleanse the world of its corruption, God decides to send a great flood. This deluge is meant to wash away the sins of humanity, to purify the earth from its defilement. The floodwaters will cover everything, leaving no trace of the wickedness that once prevailed. However, amidst the darkness, one man finds favor in God's eyes: Noah. Noah is described as a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. He walks faithfully with God, standing as a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. Noah, a righteous man, is commanded by God to build an ark. This massive vessel is to be constructed according to divine specifications, with precise measurements and materials. It is a monumental task, but Noah obeys without hesitation, driven by his unwavering faith. This vessel, of immense proportions, is to house Noah, his family, and two of every living creature, male and female, to ensure the continuation of life after the flood. The ark becomes a sanctuary, a place of refuge from the impending destruction. For 40 days and 40 nights the rains fall, submerging the earth beneath a watery shroud. The floodwaters rise, covering mountains and valleys alike. All living things outside the ark perish, as the deluge fulfills its purpose of cleansing the earth. When the waters finally recede, the ark comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat, the once turbulent waters calm, revealing a new beginning. The ark, now a symbol of survival and hope, stands firm on the mountain peak. Noah sends out a raven and then a dove, which eventually returns with an olive branch, signaling the return of life. This small branch is a powerful sign that the earth is ready to sustain life once more, a promise of renewal and rebirth. God promises never to send such a flood again, establishing a covenant with Noah and all living creatures symbolized by the rainbow. This covenant is a divine assurance of mercy and grace, a reminder of God's enduring love for his creation. While the general outline of the story is well known, the biblical text reveals intriguing details often overlooked. These lesser-known aspects add depth and complexity to the narrative, offering a richer understanding of the ark and its significance. For example, the dimensions of the ark are given with remarkable precision, suggesting a vessel of immense size and sophisticated design. The ark was not just a simple boat but a massive structure, meticulously planned and executed. It was to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. A cubit, an ancient unit of length, is generally considered to be about 18 inches, making the ark approximately 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Interestingly, the Bible also specifies a window in the ark, which some scholars interpret as a complex system of ventilation, essential for the survival of its inhabitants. This window, or zohar in Hebrew, could have been a skylight or a series of openings to allow light and air to circulate. This attention to detail hints at the practical considerations involved in the ark's construction and purpose. The ark had to house not only Noah and his family but also a vast array of animal species, each requiring specific conditions to survive. The story also mentions that Noah was 600 years old when the flood came and that he lived another 350 years afterward. These extraordinary ages are often a point of fascination and debate among scholars and theologians. While often interpreted literally, these ages could also be symbolic, reflecting ancient Near Eastern traditions of ascribing long lifespans to heroes and patriarchs. Such lifespans may signify wisdom, virtue, or divine favor, adding another layer of meaning to the story of Noah and the ark. Section 4: Echoes of a Deluge Flood Myths Across Cultures. The story of Noah's Ark is not unique to the Bible. In fact, it is one of many flood myths that have been passed down through generations in various cultures around the world. Remarkably similar flood narratives appear in cultures around the world, from ancient Mesopotamia to the Americas. These stories often share common themes of divine retribution, human survival, and the rebirth of civilization. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a Mesopotamian text predating the Bible, tells the story of Utnapishtim, who is warned by the god Ea of an impending flood. This ancient tale is one of the earliest known flood myths and has striking similarities to the story of Noah. Like Noah, Utnapishtim builds a boat to save himself, his family, and animals. The construction of the boat, the gathering of animals, and the survival of a chosen few are recurring elements in many flood myths. Similarly, flood myths in Greek, Hindu, and Native American traditions share striking similarities with the biblical account. In Greek mythology, Deucalion and Pyrrha survive a great flood sent by Zeus. In Hindu tradition, Manu is warned by a fish about a deluge and builds a boat to save himself and the sacred texts. These parallels suggest that the story of a great flood and the survival of a chosen few resonated deeply with ancient cultures, perhaps reflecting a common human experience of catastrophe and renewal. The recurrence of these themes across different civilizations highlights the universal nature of these myths and their enduring significance in human history. Section 5. More than just wood and nails, symbolism of the Ark. Beyond its historical and cultural context, the story of Noah's Ark is rich in symbolism. The Ark itself represents a vessel of salvation, a refuge from the storm of sin and destruction. Just as the Ark protected Noah and his family, so too can faith provide safety and guidance in times of turmoil. The flood itself can be seen as a symbol of cleansing and renewal. While destructive, it also represents a new beginning, a chance for humanity to start afresh. The dove, returning with an olive branch, has become a universal symbol of peace and hope, signifying the end of God's wrath and the promise of a new covenant. Section 6. The Legacy of the Flood, Lessons for Today. The story of Noah's Ark continues to resonate with us today because it speaks to timeless human concerns. It reminds us of the consequences of wickedness and the importance of living a righteous life. It also highlights the power of faith and the possibility of redemption, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The story also encourages us to reflect on our responsibility as stewards of creation. Just as God entrusted Noah with the care of the animals, so too are we tasked with protecting the natural world. In an age of environmental challenges, this message carries particular urgency. Section 7. An Enduring Tale. The story of Noah's Ark, though ancient, remains remarkably relevant. It is a tale of destruction and renewal, of faith and obedience, of hope and resilience. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit, guided by faith and a commitment to righteousness, can weather the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. While interpretations may vary, the enduring power of this story lies in its ability to speak to the deepest longings of the human heart. For meaning, for purpose, and for a connection with something greater than ourselves.